Oh, welcome, everybody. We need to talk. And we need to talk about a very specific thing. As some of you know, my main multi-tool has changed. I carry a multi-tool on my belt every day, pretty much, without fail, unless there's like some fancy, dressy thing that you gotta attend, and having a 10-pound pouch on your belt is gonna look tacky as heck. But most of you know that for a long time, going on almost 3 years now, I have carried this one tool on my belt every day without fail, with like 3 days out of a year that I don't carry it. And that is the VICTORINOX SWISSTOOL X. This is a beast of a tool. I love it dearly. I'm still going to carry it a lot, but the new contender is kind of a contentious tool for the multi-tool community right now. And if you've been keeping up with my channel, you probably already know which one it is. But we're going to compare these two tools, and we're not going to compare the accoutrements that go with it, the bit kits and pouches and stuff. We're going to compare the core multi-tool itself. And we're going to compare the SWISSTOOL X to the BIBURY Multipliers Pro. This, as some of you may know, is the Leatherman Surge clone. And it's not really a clone because it's not pretending to be Leatherman. The patents on the Leatherman Surge have expired, and so it's pretty much fair game for anyone that wants to take a crack at competing with Leatherman. And I feel like BIBURY has done a delightful job. Now, BIBURY did not start this tool, to the best of my knowledge, but they are the current ones that sell this model. It was like Rock Tool or something way back in the day. And we're going to just say BIBURY Multi-Tool for now. And we are going to compare these two tanks against each other, and we are going to see how they stand up against each other. I will mention the accoutrement here and there, but we're going to focus basically on just the main tools. And let's start off with the plier heads. I personally prefer the VICTORINOX plier heads. I love the slightly stubbier version because if you really need a fine needle nose, you're already working on something so fine and detailed that this is too big of a tool to begin with, even if it did have a fine needle nose tip to it. You would need a smaller multi-tool or smaller needle nose to get the job done. This is more just get a little bit in there, but not too in there. No replaceable wire cutters, that's fine. But it makes the whole head stronger as a plier head, and it works delightfully well. It cuts coat hangers, cuts coat hangers, wires, strips wires, pinches, grips, pulls, grabs, and I will say being a little bit thicker this way on the plier head compared to the BIBURY, you can kind of grab stuff and twist with the head like this. And some of you may know that the head wiggles a little bit when open, or when extended like this, and you can feel there's a looseness in the head. That is intentional. That is completely intentional, so that when you go to bite something square on like that and you go to turn, it locks that tool into place and you can turn better. There is actually a function to that loose jiggle in the plier head. Over here we have, definitely, if we're starting at the pivot of the plier head, these are definitely longer, slimmer needle nose pliers as one would think of them, and these have been very handy, no doubt about it. And these have been delightfully well. You can open these up pretty well. They open up maybe a little bit wider than the VICTORINOX SWISSTOOL, which could be beneficial depending on what you're trying to do. And these, while they will scratch a little bit, have not bent. I have really put some pressure on these pliers, and they have not failed me yet. These are still the original wire cutters out of the box that were on the tool, and some of you also know that it comes with a spare set of wire cutters in the tool to fix it if you were to break them. That's cool. But I haven't broken these yet, and I've tried some weird stuff on it. I've tried the old coat hanger trick. I've stripped wire, I've cut this, I've cut that. These suckers have held up so well. I love it. Leatherman, please take a note and do better. Do better on your end. you're lacking behind a bit on some of those wire cutters from what I heard. I heard now also they've kind of fixed the issue, but you never know. They need to stay on top of it. Plier head is great. The needle nose is very, very grippy. The slight rough texture here means that you can kind of like ream small pipes and stuff, which is really cool. But that's about where the comparisons stop, aside from the fact that this does have a small wire crimper right here under the plier head, which I will say works quite well as a wire crimper. Now we're going to close the tools back up. And here's where things get, you know, slightly in favor of the Swiss tool, is that all the other tools aside from the plier head are outside accessible. You look down here and everything can be reached from the outside here while the tool is closed. Here, only 4 tools are accessible. The rest are inside tools. But that's not a super big deal at the moment. It can be a bit of a contender as we go. Starting off with the main knife blade. Knife blade versus knife blade. The BIBURY multi-tool definitely has the longer, beefier knife blade. Now the Victorinox may be a little bit thicker by the looks of it, ever so slightly thicker, but I would say with relative certainty that the knife blade on here can do more and better than the Swiss tool. And the steels are comparable to each other. The Victorinox may be a little bit more refined, but this is a hard-working steel, I would say. So I don't feel too bad about that. Here's a tool that is different from the Swiss tools. This Swiss tool has no serrated blade. I have the Swiss tool X, which means the scissors. If I didn't get the scissors one, I think that would have the serrated blade, but I gotta have scissors in my multi-tools. It's just something I prefer to have. I will get them if they don't have them, but if I can get them with scissors, it's a world of difference. So right off the bat, a main outside outboard serrated blade, you know, that is very handy to a lot of people. Up next, outdoor scissors. Here we go. We can compare those. To me, the Victorinox cuts more smoothly, but we have a larger jaw for the Surge clone here that can go in just a little bit deeper, and it does cut as everything that the Victorinox does. I just feel like there's the smoothness of the Swiss engineering is nice. This is big and beefy and gets the job done. Nothing wrong with that. Delightful scissors. Here we have an interesting little feature here. We have the file. The Victorinox has a built-in one crosshatch and a single grain edge file stuck to the tool. If it breaks, you've broken the tool. This, you can remove the tool and put in T-shank. Anything with a T-shank. Aside from the Leatherman's T-shank. Excuse me, burps. This is thinner than the Surge one, so like the Surge version of this tool here would not fit in here, but this would fit in the Surge. It gets a little funky, but you can take a standard T-shank saw or metal saw or something and put it in here, and it holds it delightfully well. This thing works as it is intended to be. The edge file is a little rounded, you could say. This one's a lot more aggressive. The crosshatch is super good crosshatch on both. But we have a diamond file on this side. Great diamond file. And also the diamond file is flat all the way across with no high spots on the edges of it, which helps you if you were to use this to sharpen an axe or a knife to not have any weird high spots when you're doing that. So, that's that difference. Now, we gotta open the tool to get to the goodies on the inside. And we'll go to the next main difference, the screwdriver. On the Victorinox, we have a Phillips head and two, I know there's more, but I'm going to say these two flatheads as your main screwdrivers. We have the small one, but I kind of don't consider that as a screwdriver. That's just kind of like a little tiny pokey tool to poke with. It's not the awl, but it's kind of like a dull awl for me. But here you could have bits that are interchangeable, and it does come with a handful of bits, but we're not going to talk about all the extra accoutrement. But we do have a Phillips driver and 2 flatheads, which we will kind of compare. And since this is very close in size, we'll go ahead and dig out the Victorinox one as well. So the Victorinox has 4 size drivers, 1 Phillips. Here you have 2 flatheads and 2 Phillips. So you've got 4 individual drivers each. One has 2 Phillips and 2 flat, the other is 3 flats, 1 Phillips. But the way this Phillips is designed, you can use it on a number 2, number 1, number 0, or not number 0, but you can use it on a wide range of Phillips heads, and it works well the way it is shaped. So there is that compatibility there with being able to use this on many different screws right off the bat. But you know, being able to exchange bits, and this I recently got the magnets for it, so that you can take a 1/4 inch bit thing. This is not a standard 1/4 inch thingy, but you can put it in there and the magnet does hold it in. This is not a good example. Where is it? I should have some bits around here somewhere. We will go ahead and use this. We'll use the Victorinox one as an example. Is it the magnet still down there? Magnet is still down there, but this does not reach in deep enough for the magnet to grab. There is some pros and cons to this, but you can go buy Klein's bits that have that detent ball on them and use that on this tool. This tool is very, very capable of doing much. You know, don't let my little mishap here just now dissuade you from this. This is a very, very capable tool. You just gotta get the bit set that goes and works with it, so to speak. This, you don't need a bit set. It is just the multi-tool. That could be a game changer for you. But for me, I like to have the ability to interchange bits. Even if I can't hold it upside down, even if I've got to hold it flat or up like that, having the ability to change bits is a game changer for me. So we'll just close up the Phillips here. We'll talk about the flatheads because these get a little interesting to me. We have, those would probably be the same flatheads here pretty much for all intents and purposes. We have similar flatheads here, although the Victorinox is a little bit more refined. And then we have this crate opener, which is like a jumbo flathead, but kind of a pry bar, so to speak, which is, I have used a ton and it has been super handy. But that is your screwdriving abilities with just the tool, no outside bit kits, just what would come with the tool here. So now we go to the next 2 tools that this thing has, and here's where the Victorinox is going to come out a bit ahead, is it has a few extra tools than what this would have. Can opener, where would be can opener? Can opener is in here somewhere. There it is. I like this style can opener better than the Victorinox. Being able to pull it along the can is just really nice, but we'll get into that later, or if we do. But both can openers work extremely well. We have a wire stripper here, which would be on this tool. We have 2 wire strippers and a chisel. This tool does not have a chisel. You know, right here, the Victorinox comes out ahead a little bit, having a chisel. And that is a very nice chisel. I have used that a lot. It doesn't look it in the pictures, but it is very handy as a chisel. But we have 2 cable strippers here. We only have 1 on this tool. The can openers work well. No complaints with that. The awl. This is more of a punch awl. This is kind of a reamer. It gets finicky on what is a punch, what is a reamer. This has a sewing eyelet on it, so obviously you can use it for like basic repairs of canvas cloth and stuff. But if you know you get that fat, you're going to be tearing up your stuff with your needle more than you would a skinnier needle. But that's where the similarities end. Like, this tool is now out of tools. This BIBURY here has no more hidden features. Whereas here we have the awl, we have this little screwdriver, which is a little different than that one. We have the chisel, which this tool does not have. We have the crate opener, which is a very dedicated pry bar, which is beefier than the one on this. I would not use this as a pry bar. I would use it as a screwdriver. This I've used as a pry bar and do not regret it. We have the saw, a built-in saw, which I will say is a lot better than the saw blades that come with the tool. It does come with saw blades that you can change out on the T-shank adapter, but you know, having a dedicated saw is nicer. Plus the saw would be a little bit longer. It just depends a little bit. The scissors, like I said, are comparable to one another. The file I like better on this than I do this. I will probably go back to carrying this on a regular basis, but for now I am definitely rocking the outside one-hand blades. That is handy to me right now. So I know this is a bit of a heated topic for a lot of people, but comment down below, which tool do you feel like has potential to be the king of multi-tools, so to speak, assuming Leatherman doesn't exist. Like, between these two tools here on screen, which one would you lean towards? Would you lean towards fewer tools in a sense and one-hand ability on most of them? Because you can, like, Spidey flick some of this other stuff out. Or do you want, like, the prim and proper Swiss engineering of the Swiss tool? Comment down below. Tell me what you think. I am like 50-50 on them. I see the good and bad in both. And I gotta be honest, I'll probably go back to the Victorinox, because another thing I should mention is now you can buy pocket clips for your Swiss tools. And they go right here in your little corkscrew sections, depending on which side you want to have access to your tools. They also have a few versions now with one-hand opening knife blades. Really cool. But this one has no attempt at any sort of a pocket clip. You have to belt pouch it or just cargo pockets. That's about the only way you're going to, be rocking this thing on your person. This, you can do belt pouch or get the clip and be able to pocket carry with ease. So, both are similarly heavy. Like, one's not a lot lighter or a lot heavier. They're both about the same to me. One has a few more functions in the basic tool, but with the accoutrement that would come with it, this can kind of top that Swiss tool with ease. So this is just a rambling video. Tell me what you think. Shout at me if you hate what I did here with comparing these two. But personally, I don't think Leatherman deserves to be the king of multi-tools anymore. So Victorinox is stepping up their game. Roxxon is coming out with their modular multi-tool. We have the Goat tool out there. Next Tool is stepping up their brands. BIBURY here has many other multi-tools that are fantastic. Leatherman's throne is starting to shiver and shake a bit, I think. So, with that said, thank you for listening to me rant and ramble. Hope you found this video useful and informational. I hope it helps you build your EDC to your standards. And until the next time, farewell, carry well, and a bye-bye.